foot on the gas for LG. They want to keep it up to make it a dream hack. Randozos trying to do their best job at spoiling. Let's see if Randos change up their strategy in the picks and bans for game 2.
Polymer Mike looks for the taunt. He's going to find it on BaRRaCCuDDa.
Oh, wow.
Nice gap shield. BaRRaCCuDDa forced to beats, makes it over the wall. Oh! Skeeledon snipes him out.
Really impressive. Skeeledon blind shot over the wall.
Stand against the wall, and you see Skeeledon bring minions towards the wall.
Whalrus turning up this match. First blood on Didios. Looks like they're falling apart. K-Davion got a cataclysm. And the time he busts her off.
This time around, Randozos will have first pick on the order side. Luminosity, of course, on the other side. They'll get second and 2 picks for their first shot. The bans come first, and Randozos intelligently keep on banning out that Thor.
I mean, LG, if Thor's up, if Anhur's on a team and Thor's up, he's like, well, time to play that again and waste no time. The ROM's going to be banned away. You saw kind of the mismatch in that Hunter lane. And it wasn't just, I think Marvalz kind of got put into a bad situation, obviously coming in. He's got his best god banned away. He goes to the Soul, and then he gets paired with a Geb. So that's a guaranteed losing dual lane. And then BaRRaCCuDDa was just so efficient at taking that small edge and making it a monstrous lead. You noted it, I think, 1,200 at 10, 15 minutes.
And that's what BaRRaCCuDDa does. He's as widely regarded as not one of the more aggressive hunters.
No,
he's
super
not necessarily going to go ahead and fight. But what BaRRaCCuDDa, what makes him a top-tier hunter with that passivity, he's able to take the small leads and turn them into larger and larger leads until all of a sudden, why does he have 2 items above me? What's he doing? He's 3 levels there and making these rotations that Marvalz couldn't keep up with. Leftsyndrome will have the Athena. Maybe that'll be a little bit different, protecting Marvalz or even just helping out Leftsyndrome. But either way, Luminosity have to respond, and they'll pick up the Raijin.
Looking to pair it here. A lot of times they will focus on getting their jungler early. They want andinster to feel very comfortable. We could potentially see a Sobek pick as well, but no. LG going to go right back to the Kuang. No hesitation, and this actually still leaves Khepri open if LG want to go. And with this composition, Raijin and Kuang, 2 mages who like to go very deep into team fights, Khepri could be the perfect pick. And Randozos, I mean, unless they're going to run Athena jungle and solo, there's no way they can pick it up here.
There's just no option. We'll see the Zeus pick up before Randozos. Adura will be
I could see Athena jungle Khepri support here.
I would love it.
I don't know if Randozos are the team to do it, right? I don't think they've ever practiced anything like that. But they're going to go to the Serqet. So Skeeledon on a god he does like to play.
I mean, Athena jungle is one of my favorite. Definitely an option, but certainly not one of those gods you expect every single jungler to have in their repertoire. Serqet, maybe not so much anymore, but certainly used to be.
Every jungler had Serqet, right? There was no hesitation. And LG, they're going to go back to the Anhur. We started to see this god rise in the picks and bans. I believe Eager first picking it earlier last week, and we saw how much that man can shine with it. And LG going to pick it up in the first phase here. Bans starting up once again. Likely to be targeting out the opponent's hunters, I would imagine.
Yeah,
Just keep Marvalz down.
Yeah, keep Marvalz down or whatnot. Luminosity, though, their draft largely the same as Game 1. I mean, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. There's just no reason to walk away from what Luminosity had selected last time.
See, last time LG had a high burst mage. So now they just went with the other high burst mage. That also has an escape too.
Exactly.
It's drastically different, I promise. Khepri banned away by Randozos. I love that ban. Very intelligent. LG going to be looking to target out Marvalz once again.
Wow.
So 3 bans on the fresh rookie in the SPL on the worst team in the league between both regions. They're just like, he's already down. Let's just keep kicking him.
That's just, I mean, that shows you just how
target out the weak link, right? It's like it's like a lion, right? You got to target out the weak link. Seriously, it's very important, right? Especially when new players come in. I think we saw it from Baskin actually.
Yes.
All the way last year when Cloud9 were a very dominant team, but the ones challenging them were AFK Gaming. And what Weekend and Cyclone did was they just picked on Baskin. They just invaded him, they camped him, and he lost because of it. Now, Baskin obviously grew and developed into one of the best solo laners in the world after, numerous weeks, but you got to take out the weak link sometimes.
And it definitely makes sense. Talk to literally anyone that's ever played on the SPL stage, and they'll tell you that it's night and day between the ranked scene and playing in a competitive game. And so having that first game on a player just sort of shake him up, definitely a big deal. Chiron will be the selection for Marvalz here on the side of Randozos. He'll be coupled with a short lane Sun Wukong, and that Athena providing a lot of protection to everyone, whereas Kumbhakarna is the Guardian selected for Luminosity here.
LG are going to have the counter pick in the solo lane. They know that Whalrus will be running that Sun Wukong, and it's just going to be the Osiris. Oh, this matchup is actually drastically in favor of Osiris. This is a very good matchup for him because Sun Wukong does do a little bit of poke. However, as long as the Osiris places himself right, he won't get hit by the poke as well as his wave getting hit, and he can just kind of bully and has that death toll to heal up anything he takes.
It'll be a little bit rough. I see Luminosity here, all eyes on the prize. There's no messing around. They ban out the rookie. They pick standard stuff. They're trying to win. Luminosity searching for the second win in as many games. Let's get to it.
Look at this, BaRRaCCuDDa left untouched in the middle of 4, finds the stun. He's going to be focusing Mast to slice to the back line. There goes Stealth, and there goes Mast as well. Triple kill coming up from BaRRaCCuDDa, and Luminosity are looking good to close out game 2.
Trying to find the last hit. That's the 3rd kill in a row for andinster. And this is Luminosity. You can't count them out at any stage in the game. Looking for a 3rd, but BaRRaCCuDDa might be able to turn this. And a double kill for the BaRRaCCuDDa.
There's Marvalz on the Chiron this time. This god has been nerfed a little bit, and people have walked away from him, but BaRRaCCuDDa certainly sticking to it and has preached a little bit about it. What are your feelings on Chiron?
I mean, Chiron's good, right? Like, it's ever since his nerf to his ultimate where he doesn't have the full movement speed, we've seen him drastically fall off. And like you said, BaRRaCCuDDa still likes it. And I think this could be comfort for a lot of players, where all the gods at the high level when it comes to hunters are pretty even, you know, barring some, like, what you want in your team comp. But I think Chiron is definitely playable, and I think it's probably just something that Marvalz knows he can at least play to a high level.
I mean, at the end of the day, all hunters, regardless of what's going on, it's all about finding those basic attacks. Chiron certainly just another god when it comes to finding those basics.
Oh, so a little bit surprising here. We actually have JeffHindla on the Blink, and we've seen Blink on certain supports before. Ares most notably. Sometimes you'll see it picked up on a Ymir when you see him. But Kumbhakarna's, I think Blink is good on this god, but this early is very surprising coming out of Jeff. This tells me that LG wants to get aggressive. I expect to see Jeff rotate and looking for setups.
Not even just rotating. I mean, the Kumbhakarna, the Anhur, certainly a mid-level team. Like, certainly a mid-game character, I would say. So as soon as level 5 hits, don't be afraid to assume that Luminosity going to go ahead and try and find some sort of first blood.
And Randozos having a little bit better time early game. They're still getting pressured out into their tower, but at least they're not zoned. And this is a rotation, actually, from LG. It looked like they were going to set up some kills onto Randozos in the mid lane, but they're just going to switch over to those fire elementals, get a little bit of XP and gold, and back off.
Right lane, Whalrus versus Skeeledon here. A little bit less fighting coming out from the Sun Wukong. He's more poke-oriented than anything else.
And Whalrus here getting pressured out. This is to be expected in the solo lane, and you can see Luminosity just going to be farming up their own jungle for now. No cheeky invades coming out from Randozos, and Whalrus getting very low.
No long-range poke coming out from the Osiris, so both players relatively low, but the potions are ticking. Whalrus and Skeeledon both have a slew of them.
The thing here is that Skeeledon is going to be able to auto-attack back up with Death Toll, and I think this is Whalrus trying to force this. He knows he's going to have to back early, but he's just trying to get Skeeledon in a position where it's going to be hard for Skeeledon to try and abuse this winning matchup, and Whalrus will accept that poke to make sure that Skeeledon is so low he can't make those aggressive plays.
I'm really loving watching Whalrus over here in the solo lane. Whalrus and Skeeledon, both newer acquisitions for both of these teams, and they've been a delight to watch, honestly. Not quite the absolute top-tier solo laners, but certainly very, very high. We get to see them perform extremely well, and then also start to learn a little bit.
You know, that's something that LG does very well. I'm looking at, you know, Baskin from last year. This kid comes in, and there's a lot of raw talent in him. However, map awareness isn't there, sometimes makes mistakes. He's just like, I can press buttons really well, and I can lane very well. And that's all that Baskin was. And now they've done the same thing with Skeeledon, and we saw what Baskin can become, right? When these players are under the leadership of LG, it's so good.
Whalrus getting some help here with Skeeledon on that Serqet, gonna jump right on top of Skeeledon. Andy starts the party with first blood, but Whalrus able to answer in kind, 1-1 in the same engagement.
Still, though, that's going to be a first blood over to Luminosity, and it's on to andinster. So a breath of fresh air for Whalrus, however, because even though the lead went to Luminosity with that 500 gold first bounty, they at least have the knowledge knowing that Whalrus was able to get a return kill and the kill for LG isn't on ScaryD, so there's not that much of a disparity in the solo lane.
It's on andinster, though, so maybe not a disparity in the solo lane, but last game started out with a fed-out Kuang, and it didn't wind up too hot for the Clowns.
Level 5 onto JeffHindla. Aggression coming out there, and Marvalz doesn't look like he has the getting up to get away, and he does. He was just holding it, just wanted to tank a little bit of extra poke before he tried to escape.
And there's that level 5 aggression I was talking about out of the solo duo lane, but on the solo side, same thing. Aduro getting aggressed on by the Raijin. 3 out of 4 hit. Can't find the last one, so ScaryD will. Putting Zeus in the ground.
Look at this.
Skeeledon's got Leftsyndrome here.
Again.
Too late.
You saw Skeeledon go defensive. They are able to get BaRRaCCuDDa's Purification, but Skeeledon jumps away the second the Athena ult is channeled on him.
Yep.
The miscommunication on this squad has been the biggest problem with them. We've seen them be able to fight, but as of late, especially in this matchup, we're just not seeing people talk to each other.
It's a little bit rough for Randozos, and that's certainly something that you want to see this team improve on. It's just the cohesiveness from these individuals and watching the abilities unfold at the same time. And he's going to use his own, taunted away from his target. And Serqet's going to wrap around the corner, waiting for Andy. Taunt's good. There's the ultimate. Certainly targeted. And Andy now ticking down, going to blink forward. BaRRaCCuDDa here in kind. Whalrus has made the rotation, and he finds the hit. Solo lane rotation is fruitful. Second kill for Randozos.
And Whalrus now, he's just healing up. He's not going to go aggressive onto the boost, especially with the rotation from JeffHindla in the jungle. And Randozos are able to equalize the kills right now, still behind that first blood 500 gold bounty, but hanging in there.
Whalrus has been such a big part for this unit, not just in game number 1 finding some of the only kills alongside the mid laner, and now in game number 2, not only getting the first kill, but also the second.
All right, you could see Jeff there had blink, has his ult as well. He was trying to calculate whether he had enough damage to finish off Skeeledon.
Yep.
He didn't, and I'm pretty confident in that. I think Jeff felt it too, but
Jeff's
I mean he wanted to fight.
Jeff is still waiting, always ready to fight JeffHindla. You're going to see a brief pause come out here with 5 minutes on the clock. Everything tied up, Luminosity and Randozos. So LG took game number 1. This game seems to be a little bit different, though. Randozos have some feet underneath them, and Whalrus is a big part of that.
I think a lot of it, too, is that dual lane where we saw BaRRaCCuDDa able to exert so much pressure. And we did see, we did see Luminosity have the superior 3v3 in their core. However, it wasn't massive lead. It was once BaRRaCCuDDa started making the rotations because Marvalz was stuck under tower that we really saw LG get a foothold into the match.
I mean, we saw a double kill on the Kuang at 7 minutes. Right now it's 5, and Kuang is 1-1-1. So I think Randozos are doing a little bit better of a job at dealing with what Andy's able to bring out.
And Marvalz here hasn't died this match, so also dead even with BaRRaCCuDDa. That's always got to feel good, especially with how pressured he was last game. Mid lane here, Randozos just playing very passive. And we saw, I mean, that's the power of the Zeus pick as well, is that if you're defensive, sometimes Zeus is very good. If LG's looking to invade your jungle, they're going to be in these tight corridors, in these tight spaces, and all it takes is one chain lightning to set up some returns.
BaRRaCCuDDa going to get taunted, and here's the follow-up from the junglers. Skeeledon shows up, and there's the ultimate out of Aduro.
No mana.
No one standing in it, though, and here comes Luminosity. ScaryD picks up Skeeledon right away. Raijin trying to do what he can, but it's already finished. Whalrus shows up, throws out the Jingu Bang, but that's just not going to happen. Stun onto ScaryD and a little bit of poke, but ultimately will result in not too much. Leftsyndrome trying to engage.
I mean, ScaryD has ultimate here, so this is, I think, them trying to bait that out. And that was just, I mean, no mana on Skeeledon. We saw him go aggressive onto the BaRRaCCuDDa. He actually perfectly times the Serqet ultimate last breath to stop Raijin, who was trying to Thunder Crash away. Unfortunately, though, he had no mana. And he actually walked forward trying to do more damage, but everyone else was getting zoned out by JeffHindla. And then as he tried to escape back, I mean, he just had nothing to do.
Yeah, Zeus
no mana, no escape.
Yeah, Zeus ultimate was also a little rough, unable to really find a target with that. Jeff going to take a lot of poke from Randozos, but it's really all just a bait. They want BaRRaCCuDDa to come around the corner. Here comes Andy as well. Dragon's out on the Leftsyndrome. He's going to go up in the sky, but not dead yet. ScaryD makes sure it happens. Couple of players still in the enemy jungle here, and you can just see ScaryD pushing, stunning, and pushing, allowing his teammates to pick up the speed buff, but not without consequence. Whalrus winds up with a turnaround kill again.
Once again, another kill on a Whalrus, and now ScaryD getting aggressed onto 3 players. Marvalz actually made the rotation. ScaryD, no ultimate for him. Skeeledon's going to jump over, get the taunt, and that's going to be another kill. Randozos once again equalize. 4 kills on the board for each squad.
So Luminosity has picked up 4 kills for themselves, and Whalrus has picked up 4 kills for himself.
I know, I was thinking that too.
Whalrus, really the hard carry of Randozos here, and really, I like the Sun Wukong pick because it allows him to actually make use of, offensively, this lead that he's going to amass.
And it's just because he has a ton of poke. He has that
Yep.
long-range poke, so LG, it's much harder for them to peel, especially for the boost. If he goes aggressive with the Thunder Crash,
Yeah.
and then Whalrus is able to rotate. And to be fair, I also want to mention that Whalrus is late rotating to these fights. Like, ScaryD is there making impacts before him, and that's why Whalrus is able to find these kills, because the fight happens, it kind of breaks off, and then Whalrus comes in and kind of surprises people from behind.
Leftsyndrome taunts Jeff into a bunch of poke from Enduro. Half health for the Kumbhakarna. A little bit lower thanks to the detonate.
That's a ton of damage onto JeffHindla, and that's something you always have to be worried of as a support player, is which kind of protections you're going to build into early. We do see the tank boots from JeffHindla, so looking to make sure he's got a little bit of CCR, but he's going into potentially a Spirit's Robe or a Hide of the Urchin, so not looking for any one type of protections. Really wants those all protects.
That's interesting. I imagine it would be an Urchin. The lack
We've
of
seen
hard CC,
we've
but
seen Spirit Robes really rise, and I think it will be Spirit's Robe. And my opinion on that is because he's gone the blink. So if JeffHindla is looking to go aggressive, blink into the back line, he wants the Spirit's Robe because he's probably going to be CC'd more than likely, right? There's taunts, there's silences, there's more taunts, and then there's hard stuns looking at Whalrus. So he's going to be CC'd, then he's going to immediately get that 10% damage reduction.
Also, exactly, and the damage reduction is actually going to
Gold
work
Fury.
against the true damage, whereas protections won't. Gold Fury, Randozos starting, ultimate out of Enduro. A lot of help here for the Clowns, and they're able to take the Gold Fury despite BaRRaCCuDDa showing up. Sneaky play, well called. Randozos a little bit in the lead.
ScaryD in trouble, could get sold by Whalrus here. He is healing up, and he is going to do the damage here. Oh, but that's gonna be enough. The Blue Stone's sticking. Here comes Whalrus, and it's the minion?
Decoy finds
Oh, it's the decoy
kill.
that got the kill. That's really just embarrassing.
Don't
You die
ever-
to a Wukong decoy?
Don't ever talk to me or my son again. Ever. My son Wukong again.
I'm not responding to your meme.
I'm loving it, dude.
You're the meme lord. You are the owner and embracer of all things memes, Mr. Chip Vendor.
That was so much fun. Sun Wukong proving to be a good pick for Randozos, and they're certainly glad that Whalrus is able to
Hey
do
man,
what he can.
Randozos have 5 kills.
Whalrus has 5
And
kills.
Whalrus got 5 kills. So funny enough, I was looking at the stats today, and Randozos, they don't have a single player with a positive KDA. The closest one was Whalrus. Everyone else was like 50 kills, 70 to 90 deaths, right? No one was even
Ouch.
close. It was all like 0.6s. I think maybe a 0.7, maybe. But Whalrus had 32 kills and 40 deaths. He was the only one close to even. And I think a lot of it was because he's, he hasn't been on the team the whole length. He was a
Exactly.
part of both of their wins. But he's been playing very consistently in the solo lane.
That's rough. Nobody on Randozos is close to having a positive KDA or even an even one. Meanwhile, on the other side, Luminosity, BaRRa, #1 in NA. And last game, he still had 0 deaths, so that's just going up.
Yeah, he's got 30 deaths, I think, over the 22 games that they've played,
Nice.
and now going to fight an Impale onto Marvalz, just laying in the auto attacks. And this isn't even for a kill. This is just setting up so he can take this tower.
ScaryD and Whalrus in the solo lane fighting while everybody else fighting near the mid-Harpies. JeffHindla going to run away. A lot of poke being dealt.
Run, Jeff, run.
Randozos can pick him off if they catch up, but Andy's here to play goalie, and just the presence is enough to send everyone on the Clowns walking the other way.
Skeeledon really wants to pick up JeffHindla. You can see Randozos starting to pressure in, but they're going to be forced back. And Randozos, important to talk. We've been talking like they're on the losing end, but right now 1,000 in the lead and an advantage in kills.
Strong pillar coming out from the Anhur, but no follow-up poke, as Zeus is able to get out of there pretty much no problem. Marval's walking on some wards, and we'll watch ScaryD go ahead and head back to base.
And ScaryD down 700 gold right now. I mean, Whalrus is just running this solo lane, and nothing ScaryD could do about it. He's supposed to have the advantage in this matchup. Maybe it goes a little bit in Sun Wukong's favor, though, at least when it comes to Whalrus in Whalrus' hands. And I think Divios as well, the other Sun Wukong player, who does
Yeah.
very well with it.
I mean, Sun Wukong is a character that, I'm not going to go so far off the reservation and say that it's more like an Uller, where it's really completely dependent on the player. But Sun Wukong has an upside that is definitely very large if you're able to just pilot him correctly. And Whalrus is certainly showing us both the poke and the hard commit coming out from the Monkey King, certainly working out for these guys.
You can see Osiris actually topping the damage charts here. Whalrus going to find ScaryD in the jungle, along with Skeeledon. LG trying to do their buffs, and I mean, Whalrus is going to have his attempt at trying to steal this away, but there's 4 members. He needs to be careful.
He's still going to go for it.
And LG just like, all right, Whalrus, we're having none of you. Level 15 Sun Wukong.
Yeah.
Come on, man. BaRRaCCuDDa is only level 11 right now.
And Randozos
leave
are
him
actually,
alone.
this is okay for Luminosity. Sun Wukong is 5 kills up, but he's kind of staying in that solo lane. Sort of, I mentioned the lead on BaRRaCCuDDa, and your response was, well, sort of, so what? You put it a little bit more elegantly than that. Sun Wukong, though, so what? What is he doing besides taking the solo tower?
I mean, getting the solo tower. It's going to be very important for Randozos to have Whalrus rotate, right? When your win condition is your solo laner who has a 2-level lead, who's not only been able to solo out the other guy, but also just rotate and find all these kills. If he's just trying to split push and take 1v1s, that's a losing battle for Randozos.
Ooh, Whalrus scared. Jumps up into the ultimate and tries to...
I don't think he knew where anyone in the jungle was.
Exactly. Not no communication, but just no information. Randozos now putting all their information in the mid lane. BaRRaCCuDDa trying to deal some damage. Aduro going to be taunted towards, loses half his HP bar. And JeffHindla trying to create even more damage onto the mid lane. But now he's surrounded. Lots of blue players here looking at Jeff. Taunt not going to be found. The stun will. And Jeff takes a little bit of poke, still sitting 60% healthy.
This Randozos want a siege, but this is not a good siege for them. They're going to pop their meditation and look forward here, but they need to be very careful right now. Aduro needs to position himself perfectly, and the Sanctuary is going to save him.
On the backside, BaRRaCCuDDa gets aggressed on by Skeeledon. Ultimate is on him. He's going to be okay as he jumps away. One tick, and Marvalz finds a kill on a Jeff, and ScaryD finds a kill onto Aduro. 1 dead on the side of Randozos, 1 dead on the side of Luminosity.
BaRRaCCuDDa barely able to get out. You can see the bluestone ticking away, but it's not going to be enough damage. Whalrus just being this massive bully in the back line of LG, dealing with this minion. He's going to run into ScaryD. Left-hand side, andinster trying to make a play. Does not have ultimate. Needs to be careful, and Marval's just going to force him back. But here comes ScaryD once again, trying to fight Skeeledon. But he's going to back it time.
Marvalz also finds his first SPL kill. Congratulations to Marvalz, finding himself on the board.
We congratulate on him on his first death.
I think that's a different conversation. But more importantly, someone else besides Whalrus has a kill.
It's true. I mean, Dust now has the lowest average SPL game time.
There you go.
Breaking hearts, breaking records. Envy Dust.
15 minutes almost on the clock here. 11 kills in total. 6 of them belong to Randozos. Luminosity were able to take game 1 kind of handedly. But here in game number 2, Randozos very quickly found themselves
You know
up
what? I was really
1700.
surprised. So that first Gold Fury goes to Randozos, and I was very surprised because Randozos, over their 20 games, only have 21 Gold Furies. They are the worst objective control team between both leagues. Also, only 5 Fire Giants taken. Looking at LG, they're not much better. 29 Gold Furies. That's one thing they've really been struggling on, is this Gold Fury control here. And we could see it exemplified as they lost it to, Randozos.
Skeeledon gets poked out. That's certainly an objective that BaRRaCCuDDa wants. 40% on the Serqet, and that'll send Skeeledon back on home to heal up.
Counter ward going in favor of Luminosity. JeffHindla continuing to be aggressive here as andinster finds a ward of his own that he counters out.
Oh, Andy looking to get aggressive. Trying to find the steal on the buff. Not going to happen, though. Gets taunted into some damage. Blinks away. There's JeffHindla on the backside, launching one of them in the air. It'll be Aduro, but he'll largely be all right. Pillars down, and BaRRaCCuDDa will deal some poke. But that's all it is. Just poke. No hard commit from the guys on LG.
LG stole the buff. That's all they wanted. They're going to back out here. Gold Fury has respawned, but LG aren't in a position to force it just yet. You can see Skeeledon and the boys of Randozos starting to ping it out. And it's going to be potentially started by Randozos? No, they were just counter warding. Okay, I got a little bit worried. Like, what? There's 5 people in front of you.
Yeah, just going for the vision control. Randozos looking for the pick
now.
They're
looking for
that
BaRRaCCuDDa.
might give them Gold Fury. BaRRaCCuDDa finds an escape, but ScaryD doesn't. Taunted is the solo laner. Half HP. There's the ultimate as well. Might be enough to kill him. Jumping away to safety won't be. And ScaryD's going to be safe until Aduro hits the trucker horn. That's a kill from a distance, but Andy answers back right away. 4 alive on both sides. Whalrus getting aggressive onto the mid laner. Going to be taking the tower while BaRRaCCuDDa on the front side takes out Aduro. Very low are the members of Luminosity, and Whalrus eventually finds that kill, but Andy answers back and takes out Marvel. 2 members alive for Randozos, and Whalrus nowhere near the engagement. He backs off on the distance. Kills are even, but Luminosity winds up on top of that fight in particular.
Whalrus all game has just been diving the BaRRaCCuDDa in the back line. Here comes a TP from Whalrus as well. Luminosity getting the better of that, but only by a single kill. You can see they can't even do this Gold Fury as actually Whalrus going very aggressive. Leftsyndrome's going to come crashing down as well. Could look for the taunt. BaRRaCCuDDa does have jump. And it looks like LG are going to be able to disengage successfully, possibly.
Whalrus still looking for the support. JeffHindla going to mez him out, and
Baited.
this might be a little bit aggressive for Whalrus. Half HP popped into the ultimate. There's Athena. She finds the kill onto JeffHindla, but that's certainly going to be a life traded. The Athena now stuck out. Everybody's going to collapse, and Luminosity gets a kill onto the support, so both Guardians drop.
I mean, support for support. I mean, obviously, kill trades can be efficient here, and it stops either team from really going aggressive onto that Gold Fury.
But the amount of time that Luminosity spent on the left side leaves their mid lane a little bit open. Strong Sanctuary from BaRRaCCuDDa, and he'll be okay. But honestly, this type of aggression, KK, this is what Sun Wukong, or the lead that Whalrus has gotten, this is what he needs to do. He needs to be this aggressive for the team to win.
He needs to be careful, though, because if he's just chasing down one player instead of doing the team, like that's what Sun Wukong is best at. It's not just, oh, I'm going to find one player. Obviously, that's very critical in making sure to chase down the BaRRaCCuDDa, but he needs to make sure that if he, the whole time, is only just going to 1v1 and the rest of his team is left to fight and they don't have a lead, that's bad. Sun Wukong excels at getting off a ton of teamfight damage and then disrupting a player in the backline. Instead, he's just disrupting a single player in the backline.
We need to see the swap of roles. Skeeledon needs to go chase down the mid-mage BaRRaCCuDDa and just isolate him, use all the damage, and keep the Raijin out of the fight. Because that's why Randozos have been successful, because Whalrus has been keeping BaRRaCCuDDa out of the fight. But if BaRRaCCuDDa is in the middle of the fight, it might be a little bit more strong for Randozos.
Oh, that was so unfortunate for JeffHindla there. He actually blinks over and he's looking for the yawn. But, however, the knockback was really strong.
There's the ultimate at a BaRRaCCuDDa right down the corridor, dashing away his Skeeledon. He'll find an exit off the right-hand side, but different story for BaRRaCCuDDa as Randozos answer. BaRRaCCuDDa finds the kill, and BaRRaCCuDDa will be safe despite the aggression coming out from Enduro and left.
Neither solo laner was in that fight, so a win for LG as Chiron falls once again. Marvalz finding his second death in this game here. He does have Chin Size online, but he's starting to fall behind BaRRaCCuDDa at about a 300 gold deficit despite having that Gold Fury.
Taunt from Leftsyndrome on a ScaryD. Taunt is found as well as a stun. ScaryD brought down to about 40% HP, but nobody wants to dive that hard.
You can see the team was
Osiris.
trying to bait out the Osiris ultimate, and just ScaryD holding it.
He's just not taking the bait.
He just has so much protections, he's really not scared.
A lot of damage coming out onto Andy. Double taunt. Here comes Jeff. Leftsyndrome a little bit more aggressive than the rest of the squad. Here comes Skeeledon. Ultimate out of Andy takes out the support. Everyone mez thanks to Jeff. Here comes BaRRaCCuDDa from the left-hand side. Whalrus meets him. Stun out on the Hunter is strong. And Andy's looking for the second kill on Enduro. Doesn't even turn around. Double kill for the jungler. Luminosity up 3 kills.
And you can see Skeeledon and Whalrus trying to combine. Good stun onto BaRRaCCuDDa, but immediately responded to Zamez, and JeffHindla gonna do enough damage with the help of a 6-11 crit. 20 minutes in coming out from BaRRaCCuDDa. And Luminosity, they were down in this match by about 2K, but have quickly neutralized the lead, and they're looking to extend it, starting up this Gold Fury. Marvalz waiting around the corner, immediately ulted by JeffHindla, and there's gonna be near impossible for him to get in this one.
Unless he just takes out the support, not going to be distracted by the Sleepy, and there's the aggression. Marvalz now just smoked out by the mid laner. Andy puts a cap on it, gets credit for that. And you can see BaRRaCCuDDa just providing so much damage for this LG roster. Leftsyndrome chased out on the left side. Whalrus chased out on the right side. And it looks like the solo laner might fall. He doesn't have that much to live with, but finds the knock-up on all 3. And again, Leftsyndrome surrounded, jumped on. He's going to get in trouble, but Luminosity, the whole time we're watching this, take out the Gold Fury.
And BaRRaCCuDDa just letting the rest of his team chase down kills. They're able to pick up another one onto Marvalz, and now Luminosity finally having their reins on this match. About a 2,000 gold lead for them, and 3-0-6 BaRRaCCuDDa starting to swing 7-1-5 andinster. I mean, I don't want to say andinster's back to playing at God tier because this is against Randozos, but this is a good sign moving forward.
And that's what I was talking about when we saw in game number 1 the Kuang pick. Put Andy on these characters and just enable him to feel this. Just give him the opportunity to be the hard carry. And then later on, Luminosity can maybe explore some other picks, but it's just about getting Andy back in the swing of things, back in the feel. And again, it's not like Andy's been in a slump. He just hasn't been as dominating as he is in this series.
I mean, it's just like andinster was one of the best players in the world, and now he's getting outclassed by other junglers, so it's it's a shot to LG because that's one thing you have to do, right? Obviously, you want everyone to perform, right? You can't just rely on one player. But if your entire game plan is centered around andinster's aggression and him just being able to outplay his opponents, and it's not going that way, I mean, it starts to look bad. BaRRaCCuDDa has stepped up immensely this season, having one of his best performances of any split. And unfortunately, this is the worst split we've seen out of this Luminosity core of BaRRa, Jeff, and Andy.
Different story in this game, in this series, though. Luminosity certainly in game number 1 looked like a team that was on the top end of things. Leftsyndrome taunts in. This time everyone's on the same page. JeffHindla finds an ultimate, but Whalrus takes out BaRRaCCuDDa very, very quickly. Teleport coming in from the mid lane from SkeeledonD. He'll be here to fight, but it's 3-on-2 right now, and Andy takes out Anhur. Still looking for Leftsyndrome. Very low is the Athena, dashing forward, has the aggression mark, and there it is. Chomp, chomp, chomp. Double kill for the Dragon King. He'll land safely. Looks like Luminosity done fighting for the moment. Whalrus has to find an exit, and he will.
Marvalz was flipping on the left-hand side, and andinster realized that he's coming there to counter, but I don't think he knows Skeeledon's around the corner. There's the taunt. He's trying to get the damage off, but Marvalz shuts down andinster's kill streak, and the team's successfully going to be able to get a tier 1 on the left, because right now Whalrus is keeping LG busy in the mid.
BaRRaCCuDDa's ultimate, not enough to find the kill
onto
the monkey, but a strong stun from SkeeledonD keeps Wukong available. Tier 2 goes down, and Wukong does as well. SkeeledonD credit for that one. The first death for Whalrus all game, but meanwhile, Randozos split push left side, pick up not 1, but 2 towers. So the lead that Luminosity has garnered is still very close. Just 1,000 gold separate these two squads.
I mean, this is an even game right now. Luminosity looks like the team's going to be grouping up for this tier 1 on right. Skeeledon and BaRRaCCuDDa should be able to combine for this. There's no one on Randozos even close to stopping this. And the Anhur is swinging away at the tower. 1,600 gold in hand. The crit is online once again for BaRRaCCuDDa. And we saw it hit earlier, 611. And he's going to be enhancing that only further from now on.
Still no deaths on the Hunter for Luminosity, preserving that very high KDA, 307.
Did he have any deaths last game?
Nope.
Just increasing it. So the highest kills a game right now is actually Zapman, who has 105 kills over 20 games, I believe. After that, it's Homie FA at, well, not including this set. Oh, Andy's fine. After that, it's Homie FA at 5 kills a game, who has a couple more, 120, but he's played 4 more games.
Leftsyndrome now being aggressed on Luminosity, trying to find a couple of more kills this game. Big poke onto the Athena, and that's going to make Heron Skeeledon walk away safely in the jungle, just farming up their speed buff.
And going to secure it here. Skeeledon was pretty far behind andinster at one point, I believe a 4 or 5 level difference. But now that Andy's hit 20, this is only going to allow Randozos to close the gap, which is very good for them because they've been getting out farmed when it comes to experience. Marvalz has been able to match BaRRaCCuDDa in level. Leftsyndrome is starting to close the gap. Skeeledon as well, starting to close that. So a good look still for Randozos.
Much different story for Marvalz as opposed to game number 1 here. In game number 2, still down quite a bit, almost 1,000 gold away from BaRRaCCuDDa, but just not as devastating as game number 1. And he's actually been a big part of what Randozos have been able to find. 2 kills and 2 assists, not so bad.
Luminosity circling around this fire giant. Gold Fury's going to be spawning in about 25 seconds. You can see BaRRaCCuDDa setting up for that. And Randozos, while they were aggressive for some time, they've kind of toned that down. Luminosity have started gaining control of these fights. It's 17-11 in kills. I believe we were tied. I think Randozos actually had a kill advantage at one point, 8-6.
One by himself. SkeeledonD surrounded by 3. He's already at half HP.
There's
dead. The ultimate. He's going to run away. There's another ultimate and down for the count. Number 12, Skeeledon. Credit for that.
Scary getting very aggressive into Randozos jungle by himself, punishes it, and that was just really well executed. They don't burn too many ults. They needed Serqet ult to secure it. They weren't exactly sure where the rest of LG were. Now they have a numbers advantage, which means it's going to be hard for Luminosity to set anything up.
And BaRRaCCuDDa going to get taunted. Leftsyndrome certainly wants to keep the foot on the gas pedal. There's the long-range shot out of Marvalz. So the mid laner takes a little bit more poke. And all 5 members of Randozos now grouped up in the middle lane. Leading the pack is Whalrus, taking out some of the minions, looking for the push onto the tower. Andy lurking right-hand side. Looks like Luminosity going to relinquish this tower to the Randozos.
I think that's a smart look. They're also going to be looking to set up for this Gold Fury. It has respawned. SkeeledonD dead for another 15 seconds. And
Fire Giant. Fire Giant call.
Sneaky. And Randozos have no idea. They're going to know now, though, on top of a ward. And you can see the immediate call to rotate to FG.
Whalrus hitting the gas pedal. halfway down. It's
Not in
dead.
time.
Fire Giant already taken by Luminosity. Very intelligent play call from Luminosity. They saw Randozos slink away from the mid lane into the left side of the map. They answer by taking the other more important objective. 27 on the clock. Luminosity up by 5 kills. Also tie game, but the Fire Giant on LG.
So here's the thing, right? I talked about it last game where Randozos, they're having a problem with shot calling and having that synergy between their players. This is their other problem, is objective control. They have the lowest number of Gold Furies and Fire Giants in the game. 21 Gold Furies taken across their games, only 5 Fire Giants. We've also seen them have Fire Giants stolen away from them at least 2 times. I think it could be 3. And that right there, that was just like a really surprising call because they had all 5 members on the Gold Fury. Normally you set one person to go aggressive and to zone out. Well, that person who is supposed to be there should have realized or at least noticed that Luminosity made the rotation to the Fire Giant. They could drop the Gold Fury immediately or only keep one person on it and then be there to at least stop LG. But once again, just why are you all 5 grouping up on the Gold Fury? Why is someone not spotting or someone zoning?
Tough stuff for Randozos. Just not going to be able to find that Fire Giant. So Luminosity, they take a tier 1 with the Fire Giant so far. So that's just 500 gold. Randozos going to clear out the jungle as much as possible to prevent LG from doing anything else.
I think we're going to see a switch here. JeffHindla has been very aggressive for most of this game, but with how pressured BaRRaCCuDDa has been, not only Whalrus, but Skeeledon as well, I think we'll see him switch to more of a defensive style, allow Skeeledon to be that front line, and then Jeff is just going to be on to peel for the BaRRaCCuDDa. Otherwise, they could start to lose fights.
LG now pushing on the left side, looking for a tier 2 tower. Ping's coming out. Whalrus and Skeeledon not here. Skeeledon just pushing up on the right-hand side. So this tier 2 tower will go for free to LG, making the rotation towards mid.
That was a good split push because it actually gave enough gold for Skeeledon to finish his Malice. He now has 40% crit rate. Also, both of those passives. This is a pretty damaging Serqet.
Yeah, it's a very dangerous jungler here. JeffHindla going to lead the fight into the Phoenix. Not going to find the hit onto the target, but Marvalz slowed out on the backside. There's the ultimate for BaRRaCCuDDa. Just trying to find one. Sanctuary going to be popped in return.
And Skeeledon chases Leftsyndrome to the back of the fight. Here comes Marvalz trying to find the snipe, but it's not going to be enough. Double kill coming up from BaRRaCCuDDa, and already 3 are dead on the side of Randozos. There's the 4th Skeeledon with the double. TheBoosh, the only player to fall. That's going to be the first Phoenix, and I think LG are going to waste no time. It's only Whalrus left alive, but he has been the man for Randozos. He's going to need a miracle to stop this final LG push.
Skeeledon starts the Titan, tanking it down from 10,000. Very quickly, it's falling. 5K, 50%. And this one, Whalrus cannot stop the onslaught. Very low is the Titan. Still not dead yet. And there it is. Luminosity find the 2nd kill in as many games, just shy of 30 minutes. 2 kills, 2 wins to Luminosity above Randozos.
Now, their destiny is not in their own hands for DreamHack, but very strong showing, especially in that first game. LG definitely needed that win, and in such a dominant fashion. Game 2 was a little bit closer, but they're still able to close it out with a great call for that Fire Giant. I mean, next match is going to be Enemy versus Eager, and Luminosity are counting their stars right now for one of those teams to get 2-0'd.
Exactly. Luminosity, their fate isn't in their hands. Eager and Enemy going to be one of the more exciting games that we're taking a look at here. Soar, on the other hand, will absolutely clinch. They are headed to DreamHack, the first North American team absolutely secured, so that'll be very, very exciting for them and their fans. Congratulations to Soar. They now join Panthera as the only 2 teams guaranteed a trip to Sweden. As far as this set is concerned, we saw a number of fantastic plays.
Soar, however, still not first seed, which is important because if you're first seed, you're on the opposite side of the bracket of Panthera. And if I'm anyone right now, I do not want to be on the same side of the bracket as Panthera.
That's certainly true. Scary D might not be afraid of that, though. He had a fantastic game here for Luminosity. Big part of their win on the Bologna and on some of the other guys as well.
And just a really good job just focusing and rotating out, despite Whalrus getting the better of him in these solo lane matches. Just such a phenomenal team fighter, and that's what LG needs, right? That's what they breed, is just these monster solo laners who, even if they can't win lane, although Baskin, very good laner, just know when to rotate. They know the timing on it. You're going to see Scary D make calls against Whalrus, just like, Whalrus, teleport us down, or I can rotate, or I can't rotate, don't force this fight.
And it carried over into game number 2 as well. Skeeledon on the Osiris staying very, very offensive, finding the ultimate kill there onto Leftsyndrome, and then just dishing out the basic attacks and the damaging sickles. I mean, this is exactly what Osiris is supposed to do. Just get in the middle of your team fight and just cause havoc.
And chasing Leftsyndrome to the fountain there, getting that, and I believe he finishes off with the double kill at the end of this fight. So really well played by Skeeledon, recovering after getting so far behind Whalrus. And a lot of that, to be fair, was Whalrus picking up kills in other engagements that Skeeledon wasn't a part of or didn't find the same kills.
Skeeledon has been an absolute asset to this team, really coming in about halfway through and helping Luminosity find some of the wins. They've never been negative, but now they're certainly a little bit more positive. Coming up a little bit more in the standings is Luminosity. You can see them sitting there, number 4, 14 and 10. And they're sore. They have their masters. They're ready to go to Sweden.
However, Enemy and Eager can still try and pass them, and Luminosity and Denial, they're still in this fight. It's not going to be an easy road for LG or Denial, but they can make their impact known here in Week 9.
Soar versus Enemy. I mean, that was a nice set that we just watched, but really, I want your take on the next set, Kevin.
I think Eager has a slight edge. I think Enemy started to drift off a little bit, but it is not going to be an easy match for them. It is going to be a nail biter, a barn burner, as some would say.
It will definitely be a barn burner. It's easy for you. Go to DreamHack, dreamhack.se. All you got to do is buy tickets. For these teams, they've got to beat some of the best in the entire world at Smite. That match coming up for you next, right here on hi-rez TV.